We're calling to order the December 7th Board of Health meeting.
Don't get before
The
you.
first order of business will be to approve the minutes of the October 5th meeting. I'll give you a few minutes to read it, and then I'm looking for a motion from you to accept the minutes as read. Okay. I think people minutes. What happened is it's on the back side of this page. It was on the back side of the first page. They double-sided it. These are the minutes from the October meeting.
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to accept the October 5th meeting minutes.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to relinquish the chair and second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it passes with 2 votes. I'm going to recap to the chair. The next item on the agenda is Michelle, I'm going to turn it over to you. You can bring whatever you want next.
Lisa, do you want, I did your HACCP.
You know what, we were not able to get that inspection yet, so I don't want to vote on it tonight because they haven't done the inspection yet. So we could table that
Okay.
till next month.
Sure. Next, Attorney Vitale is here representing a mobile gas station.
Okay. Why don't we have staff tell us what's going on first, Mr. Vitale, and then we'll have you come up and
Joyce.
do your part. Joyce?
Okay, Joyce can give you
That'll be
an
you?
update.
Yeah, so, please.
Joyce, why don't you come up to the mic, please? Please, Chair.
I've never been known to not talk about it.
I know.
And it helps me hear better, too.
No, I'm teasing. So, on November 28th, 2021, at approximately 10:30 a.m., based on an anonymous complaint, I went out to the mobile station and one other location, and the complaint was that they were selling flavored tobacco products. In your package, you should have pictures of those products. So they had multiple flavors. I'll show you this picture, just hold it up. So these right here are cigarillos. Some are clearly marked like grape and white grape and peach, but blue is also a flavor. So yeah, although it's considered a concept flavor, it is a flavor. These 2 products here are something vapable, and on it it says blueberry, and then another concept flavor like sunset something. So those are vape products right there. And then up here we have blunt wraps. Back here it says backwoods, and one is Russian cream, and the other I believe was honey. In addition, I'm going to flip to the next page. They had what is called Delta 8, and Delta 8 is a prohibited product in Massachusetts. And also, I just took it down to remove it. Specifically, it's a gummy in this case, and like you can see the packaging in this picture that it's called Skittles and Nerds, like candies that are generally, you know, attractive to kids or young kids. This picture here is demonstrating the, so blunt wraps And the pricing and packaging, this clearly says $2.50, and our regulation as far back as October of 2019, well, blunt wraps have been prohibited much longer, since 2010, but the pricing and packaging went into effect in your October copy of your regulation.
Do you have a packet?
And again, just another picture of the Delta 8 gummies. And this is a picture I just took to demonstrate how much product was in the location at the time of the inspection. So we wrote a violation, okay, and I have these kind of in a special order or a particular order. This is a sign that was posted. It's required by state law to have this posted, indicating to everybody, like customers and the owners alike, all flavors are prohibited in Massachusetts, so here we are. So Massachusetts state law prohibits, as of June 1st, 2020, prohibits all flavors, including mint, menthol, and wintergreen. But our local regulation has prohibited all the other flavors, the chocolates, the grapes, the bananas, the cherries, since 2019, your October 1st, 2019. We sent out a letter to the owners in November, prior to the regulation going into effect, with a summary that fines would be high, that these are state regulations, state laws now. This letter was sent to the merchants twice, once in April and once in May, and it was accompanied with something that is very clear, with pictures indicating what flavors, what products, goes into, you know, pens, in terms of vape, pens, bars, sticks, hookah, cigarettes, cigars, chew. It was very explicit about what they can't have. And then this is something that is on mass.gov regarding the Delta 8. It's prohibited in Massachusetts because it is a synthetic of hemp, and that's prohibited in Mass. So then, based on this, we sent a fine, and the establishment was fined as a second violation because they had a sale to a minor in April. The establishment was here, I believe, as recently as October, and so this was a second violation of state law, which requires a $2,000 fine and a 7-day suspension. And Michelle just requested that they be here before the board, given the close proximity to these violations. Any questions?
Mm-hmm. Now, through this whole time, because we've been around a long time, the both of us, I don't want to show our age, we've always did a lot of outreach and workshops and things to try to tell people so they could get rid of their stock before the law kicked in. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Because you touched on it a little bit.
And just so you know, prior to the October regulation, I offered five trainings here in the hall. We did them in this room, I believe. Mm-hmm. And it was touch and feel, like I brought all the products, allowed them to have questions and answers. Then even through COVID, like as a reminder, we sent out this tool and the letter. And that was on top of things that we had done prior to, because we did those 5 trainings prior to the October enactment date of the local regulation. So there's certainly been opportunities. Plus, we went out and handed the signs that he had hanging. You know, this is one that he had hanging, but there was also a summary law, and we always point to it and say, and just a reminder, tell all your staff, this is the fine system now. So here we are.
Dr. John or Ms. Moore, any other questions or comments for Joyce before Sam comes up? Dr. John, any questions for Joyce or concerns? No? Thank you very much, Joyce. Good job. Okay, Sam, if you would please, Sam. You can both come up. You grab another chair. Just helps me to hear, and I guess it's just a microphone system.
Can I see the blunt wrap? You said blunt wrap?
The what?
You said blunt wrap. I don't have blunt wrap.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Can I see it?
Yes.
So Zim Zaid is here, he owns the Noble Station, and he also owns other stations. Newburyport, Springfield, other places. I don't dispute that you've seen photographs. in his property.
Hold on one second. Why doesn't he talk with her afterwards? He can find out whatever he needs to find out.
That they're looking for.
Okay.
Those are one reps, and inside these are one reps.
It's not illegal, it's not good.
No, it has one reps in it, and these are one reps. Those, yep.
I didn't know that was illegal.
Sam, I don't want to litigate this with her. He's coming before the board. He can speak to us.
So as I say, we acknowledge that the presentation would establish a violation. But that being said, and notwithstanding that, I've urged you before, the employee who works for Sam is the 20-year employee, all right? We're not going to fire him. He's been there for 20 years. He may have made a mistake. And I've asked the board before to consider what other boards do. For example, in Newburyport, where he has a station, the Newburyport health inspector called him up and said, we found stuff on the shelf, pick it off the shelf. And he did. I understand that the purpose is to get compliance, and I think everybody's on the same page. But he's a small businessman who is struggling, and it's kind of draconian. You don't have much leverage. So I had suggested in the past that not to abrogate what was there for the penalty, but to hold it in advance, sort of like over their head, and keep them on probation. That way, I think it leads towards compliance. It also, if there's another violation, it triggers not only that penalty, but a subsequent penalty. And so our attempt has been to get compliance, and our attempt is to keep these people in business. But we acknowledge that the facts that she described and the picture she showed Sam would establish a violation.
The delicacies said, I didn't know it's this illegal in the Skittles. I didn't know it is illegal. The vendor of us brings it in, and I didn't know nothing. And I swear to God, I didn't know this is illegal or this has it's a bandit that we cannot sell it. This is the truth on this stuff. And we have, along with the CBD, and plus the Joyce took some of the CBD out too. It's not illegal to us. We put some CBD also, and it's in the bag.
you can't have edible CBD.
Some everywhere, the whole state they sell CBD. CBD says that gummies. The whole state sells them. Every store in Massachusetts sells them.
Have a seat, Sam, for 1 second. Okay. Let me ask Attorney
Which is who's right, who's wrong.
Attorney Willett, if it's a violation of a state law, this board has no discretion to not enforce, correct?
This is right. Your discretion is set by the Code of Massachusetts regulations.
The flavor, okay. I didn't know about them because I own a chicken place right in Springfield. I go there a lot. So I don't look behind the counter. I don't know anything about those flavored. And I admit there, but if I see them, I wouldn't have them there. If I know about them. Because I don't go to sales area myself.
Michelle?
So flavor has been banned since 2020.
Yeah, I understand. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I have
So-
a location. I don't sell. I don't have flavor
Well,
when I go.
You did when Joyce
But
was
this,
there.
yeah, this one I said admit, but I didn't know about them. They are like this, the 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. I didn't see them. I didn't know about them. If I know, I wouldn't
So,
make sure they're not there.
as you own the establishment, and as you said, you've owned other places in different parts of the state, it is your responsibility to know what you can have and what you can't
I
have.
see exactly.
So that is the problem. I asked Joyce to send you a letter to invite you to this meeting because you were before us in October, so in less than 2 months, you're back again with another violation.
It's like nothing. It's nothing like that. I want it to happen. The first violation, selling underage. The guy, he's got so much spits at, yelled at, screamed at so many times. They broke glasses, broke our front glasses so many times because we asked for an ID. Okay, they broke our credit card machine, cost $2,000 2 times because we asked for an ID. And sometimes he's scared. That's what happened first, not asking for an ID sometimes. The clerk gets scared. Okay, and I admit it's wrong. We do. We try 99% to make sure it happens. But this, I really, it's, if you see the sales area, it's so small, I don't go behind the register myself.
But you should, as an owner of many establishments within the state, you should know what is in your store, what is legal, what is not legal, what is state required, what is city required. As that's your responsibility, sir, as the...
I do good job at other locations too. I make sure not to have them. This one, I slipped, and when I see the invoice, see backward game, but I didn't know it's the flavor. When I see invoices.
If I can speak for a second, here's the problem I'm having. If there was one thing that you forgot to take off the shelf, even then, we can't circumvent the law, but it's a whole place full of different things.
They're like 6, 7, yeah, I understand.
You know,
Yeah, I didn't see them. I didn't know that they are there.
It's not a...
I didn't know.
To put that in the back room.
Imagine me and like obvious I'm gonna go and display them on as an owner to lose my business, have them just on the counter displayed like obvious like in front of everyone else. No, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't want it to happen. But I didn't know.
So were you at your store then, working to see that this product was there?
I go to my office. I do the paperwork in the office. I do.
So you don't look around your store to see that you're in compliance?
I walk in the store, the walk-in cooler, store look good, clean. That's why I love cleanness. Whatever's...
And why don't you, and you don't look at the product that you have on the
No,
shelf?
there's so many kinds of cigarettes, so many kinds. Like you got blinded or something, you don't see. You're gonna blinded.
Who orders the product as to why it arrived in your store?
The manager and also distributors bring the stuff. For example, on the Skittles, the edible she's saying, we don't order it. The distributor brings it in, one piece at a time, because it doesn't sell a lot. It's not, I don't want to jeopardize my license because of one piece. I sell them once in a while. I sell one piece Skittles, one piece of Delta. I don't know the Delta name she was saying. Doesn't sell much, so it's not a big deal to take it out of the shelf, but not to penalize like this all the time and come in front of here. Very embarrassing for me. I told her I don't want to come to the meeting. It's very embarrassing. I don't want it to happen anymore. I don't want nothing.
So then, sir, you need to pay attention as to what product is in your store. And you need to make yourself aware of the state regulations and the city regulations. I mean, there's a lot of pictures on that day, and that garbage bag is full. So you've had more than just this.
I understand. I'm not going to let it happen. I'll stop it myself from now on. I'll sign them. I told them I'm going to make sheets, and everyone signs that do not have any of this, and also for any other, like for checking underage also. I did this. I called the company. I brought them to put the system on the screen to check every time we scan cigarettes. You need to check. I got that done. Now I'll take an action on this as well.
You know, you've come here twice and you're taking it on the chin, and I do believe that you probably are a responsible owner. And as you said earlier, you don't want to be here, but we don't want you here either. You still got the initial responsibility of knowing how to do business and how not to do business by law, and we're just the mechanism that goes to tell people who is and who isn't.
Some stuff, okay, I understand the flavor. No, we're not allowed. I didn't pay attention. My fault. But on the other stuff, I didn't know it's illegal on Delta and the Skittle.
So who prices, when Joyce pointed out to you that the cigarello packaging, it states $2.50, who puts the prices on the product?
The employee.
So I recommend to you that it is his second offense and that his license be suspended for 7 days selling tobacco.
What?
I'm sorry, Ron. I recommend that this is his second offense within 2 months, and that with that, it also entails a 7-day suspension of his tobacco license.
Anyone speaking on the motion?
No, I'll just comment. We realize that these fines and suspensions are harmful to small businesses. But on the other hand, our primary responsibility is protecting the public health of the residents of the city. in particular the youth. And these regulations are in place to protect the youth. You're not denying the violations, and our hands are really quite tied that we can't reverse the suspension or the fines. I mean,
I pay the fine and suspension at the same time, so that's $2,000 fine. I mean,
again, our goal is not to, we realize they're not good for business, and that's not our goal, to hurt your business, but our primary job is to protect the public health of the city and its residents. And we've had several businesses such as yours come before us before, and we routinely uphold the regulations.
we're hurting already. Our payroll up sky high, no one less than $20 an hour, and everything follows together, and I can't, it's gonna hurt big time. You can do whatever you want to do.
That's not our intent.
Once again, this board is not equipped with the wiggle room to deviate from the law. We're not. If we set that precedent, everybody that we already fined would be in here the next week saying, how come you gave him a chance and not me? I mean, would hope to think you're never gonna be here again, but I thought that in October too. I'm looking for a motion to accept the recommendation of the director.
I'll make a motion.
I'm looking for a second.
Aye.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Sorry, sir, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Sam.
Have a good holiday, and I
You
want
too,
to say,
Sam.
Can we pass the holidays though? Do I, can I do after the holidays?
and,
Christmas coming,
uh,
folks.
It was a true public service, that what the Board of Health did yesterday here with the shots. Because I tried to get an appointment from the state, and I didn't get one until like December 18th in some of them. And then I learned about here, and I walked in yesterday and got it, said, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, Attorney. Thank you, Attorney
Have a good
Vitale.
holiday. Tell Rick I was asking. Okay, next.
Nick's roast beef, and that's Lisa.
So we have, did I say something? No, so we have Stephanie here from Research Safety. I'm sorry, tell me your name again. Mohammed from Research Beef at 50 Western Ave. Oh, I'm so sorry. What is your name? We also here from Nick's, this is from Nick's Roast Beef at 50 Western Ave. I believe you brought the package about with all the instructions, repeat violations. We had a food board illness complaint earlier in the year. So they did, rather than...
Thank you.
And they did, rather than appeal the orders, they did immediately contact Research Safety to be their consultants to work on the issues at the restaurant. I want them to come before you because I wanted you to approve the consulting agreement and how many months they need to be under this consulting agreement, just like we did with Hacienda Corona back in September or October.
Okay, let me ask a couple of questions.
Yeah.
You want us to approve the consultant agreement in lieu of an enforcement?
Yes, they were ordered to get under a consultant agreement and work
Okay.
under it,
Okay.
which they did. I
Okay.
just wanted to present it to you for your take, so that we're treating everybody the same. Hacienda Corona is also under one. I don't know how many months that the board wants them to be under this for. We initially did 3 months for Hacienda Corona and told them they'll be back later on, so we can determine if they're gonna extend it or not. We need to make the same decisions for these guys.
Okay, I'm not speaking for everyone on the board, but when it comes to determining how long someone has to do something to comply, I would rather leave that to the staff. They have no clue if you need 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. You know, staff knows better. They work on it every day. If you recommend 3 months, we'll go with 3 months. If you want to extend it 3 months, we'll extend you 3 months. We always support staff almost 100% of the time, unless we see that they're doing something in error, which doesn't usually happen. So as far as seeing an agreement for them to comply so that we don't have to enforce, other type of measures, that's fine, but to me, I think the time periods of any sort should be left to Michelle, Lisa, and whoever else works in that area. I don't want the board, I myself don't want to get involved with setting timelines or anything like that. I don't know enough to do it.
But we did do that last time with Hacienda Corona. Sorry, the board did decide to do 3 months of Hacienda Corona when I actually requested a year.
Okay.
So, and it doesn't matter to me because we just said we'll keep revisiting it. So I think because we said that, I have no problem saying 3 months this time and asking them to come back in 3 months.
Sure.
Because Stephanie has been sending me monthly reports on behalf of Hacienda Corona, which I have to present to you tonight.
Well, exactly the reason why I would rather go with your recommendation all the time, because we change, you say a year, we say 3 months, we don't know. I don't know.
Right.
They may know, I don't know. So we can always ask you for an update, or you can always ask us for an extension, and then there's a communication for when needed. Because we're never gonna remember, we do 1 million cigarette things, we're not gonna remember one for 3 months, or 1 million restaurants and things of that nature. So basically, if the agreement is good by you, and the time period is good by you, I'm good with that, but I would like to make a comment. Very serious food issues at this place. If I'm not mistaken, did we get a call from the state that somebody got sick?
Yes.
It's like the worst case scenario, because if they look at us like, what are you doing? Your places are getting people sick, and the state comes in, they understand we're trying the best we can, but ultimately, it's your responsibility to serve safe food to people. I understand you're taking the steps in the right direction, you're getting people to help you how to do it right, but I'm pretty sure when I was getting ready for the November meeting, when I read the reports, it's one of the worst ones I've ever seen. So, that being said, yes, 3 months, and I think we should see a review in 3 months. Or if, Lisa, you tell us, no, everything's good, they don't have to come back in, you don't have to waste our time and your time, because you're the one that monitors. It's your job. You're the one that oversees. And I have utmost faith in what you do and recommend to us.
So, my suggestion would be to keep them on for 3 months, have them send in monthly reports. So the 3 months, we'll send a food inspector out, like we did at Hacienda Corona, to do an inspection, to see how they're doing. And then from there, at the next 3 months, after 3 months, I can come and present either an extension or any of the orders.
I can tell you this, the only reason I even beat you up a little bit about how bad the inspection was, if you come here again with another failure, that very poor path inspection is gonna carry a lot of weight in my eyes. So things have to get, we're giving people a second chance to make people sick. I don't know, about that too much sometimes, but with the help of the guidance with people that know what they're doing and help you don't want to get people sick either, I'm sure, but, we've had in the past some times where people have said, yeah, we're going to do good, they come back like a year later and they're doing the same thing. And your past record will be held against you only because of the severity of the issues that I saw were found, but hopefully we won't have to go down that road again and things will be better. Are you looking for a motion, Lisa, for us to accept your recommendation regarding next roast beef?
Yes.
And
Except for
Michelle? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yes. How did you rectify the refrigeration situation?
So, well, a quick question. What was can you remind me the date of execution of the agreement with?
October 22nd, 2021.
Okay, that's right. So, right now we're going into 2 months, so I've been spending a lot of time there, many hours. And they've spent a lot of money buying new equipment, making sure that surfaces are cleanable. We have a new refrigerator coming. So as you may know, there's a shipping crisis going on, and a lot of things have been sitting in shipping containers, in the ocean. So there was a little delay.
Can you send me the specs and the invoices on that?
Yes.
So that I can have it on file, that it hasn't just been ordered?
Yeah, actually, it's going to be in on Wednesday.
Okay, still send me the specs?
Yeah,
on
of
that
course.
stuff?
And we bought a lot of new shelving, we've organized the facility, we've done a lot of hands-on training, a lot of cleaning, structural deficiencies are being addressed. So, we're going into 2 months over there already. So are you gonna do the 3 months from the date of execution?
No, I'm gonna do 3 months from the date of Board of Health Hospitals.
Okay,
Yeah.
so essentially it's gonna be, at the very least, a 5-month contract, because we're already going into 2 months. So that's fine. I mean, it's good that we're spending the time there and establishing good habits and,
How
yeah.
many months is your contract for?
Sergio typically does 6 months. I know that's what we did with Hacienda, but we will extend the contract as required by the Board of Health.
Lisa, has there been an inspection since October?
I don't know, off the top of my head, to be honest with you.
There hasn't been, no.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't, one doesn't stick out in my mind, but I would have to check to be sure. I'm checking to see if there's a date on this stuff.
October 22nd, I think, was the last time you were there.
Okay.
The contract says estimated length of the project is 6 to 12 months.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Let me ask a food question. All those inspection reports that we had done, is the majority of that stuff addressed already? Or does the plan address it over time?
Well, the issue is, the inspector goes, there's violations, the inspector goes back, it's corrected. Inspector shows up for another inspection, it's the same violations. We have a re-inspection, we go back.
Great.
Go back again. So every time their grade goes from an A to a B, we add an inspection. Then it goes from a B to a C, we add an inspection. And every time we do an inspection, we're finding the same violations. And repeat violations take off additional points. So if it was 3 points the first time you got it wrong, it's 4 points the second time you get it wrong.
Great. Thank you,
Well,
Lisa.
I can answer your question. Yeah, the violations have been addressed. I know they have been because I've been there. Obviously, with any corrective action plan, we have to verify that things are corrected and remain corrected. So,
Do you find that now?
that things are remaining corrected? Yes, and if things do become an issue again, there is active management controls in place where a manager can see that this is an issue and make immediate correction. So,
Are you there every day, Stephanie?
I'm not there every day, no, but I am typically there, we're typically there once a week. And when I go there, I spend several hours, usually. Sometimes 4, 5, 6 hours. And,
You know, I would imagine the beginning's always top-heavy anyhow. right?
yeah, exactly.
Until they get their own wheels in the right motion.
And I like to be there at different time intervals, because I like to see, who's managing at certain times, how they're interacting with staff. I like to be able to do some training with different shifts. So it's a long process. I mean, I think 12 months goes by fast. So,
We just don't want to wait people to wait too long to get good food.
no, I mean,
I'm only kidding.
food's great over there. I eat it now. I do, because it's getting into tip-top shape, and I enjoy the food when I'm there now.
This happened, even they call us, they call us on the phone, even they threat us so many times, because since we take over this from the previous owner, and when I was serving my own leg at the front, and they want to feel food sometime, and okay, we can complain. So there is so many reasons. I mean, if the food is, I agree, somebody will end up in the hospital, but only one person. And if you're like 3, 4 guys, yeah, we have some contamination or something outside, but we do have so many calls. Okay, sometimes the order was something wrong. Okay, you can send me another one. How many do? And give us the food. I said no. We are in the driver and bend the English. So this way we get a lot rather, because we now listen to them for the free food.
Well, I mean, either way, I mean, your business is in a much better place, and I think customers are noticing some of the changes too. And, things are way more organized and visibly cleaner, and staff are very, and one thing that's great is your staff, they're on board with doing the right thing. So everybody is like willing to learn, and if I see something, everybody's willing to step up and take care of it, so it's been
Again,
great.
this board's job is not to micromanage. That's Lisa's job. And we basically go with her eyes and her inspectors and her reports and whatever they recommend to us. So I think, Michelle, you all set over there? We're
Yep.
looking for a motion to accept Lisa's recommendation.
Can I also include in that recommendation that there's no grade change inspection until the consulting period is over?
But we don't have a date for that, correct?
3 months. So they probably will have an inspection the beginning of the year at some point. So if it's within the consulting period, it shouldn't be a grade change, because I don't think it's fair when someone's there all the time, basically checking on them constantly to make sure they're doing the right thing, to have their grade change. Their grade should be based on what they do by themselves on their own, running their own business.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion. I don't know what that motion is, but one of you two will know what it is.
A motion to accept the consulting agreement for mixed roast beef, to include that they stay under the consulting services for a period of 3 months, at which time it will be revisited through monthly reports and inspections, and no routine grade change inspections until the consulting period is over.
I'll make the motion.
We're looking for a second.
Aye.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Thank you very much. Good luck. Okay, Michelle.
Do you want, Lisa also has just follow-ups on 44 Allen Avenue.
Yep, so back in, oh my gosh, geez, a while ago, probably maybe the end of 2020, February 18, 2020, right before our worlds changed. Mr. Bianco of 44 Allen Ave was here appealing lead orders that we had sent out. And we granted him an extension and some time to get some stuff done. Obviously, the pandemic kind of threw things off, but in the meantime, he did de-lead both units at 44 Allen Street. He submitted the paperwork to ISD. We put it in the property jacket and we closed the complaint. So we just wanted to let you know that,
Great.
because he had appeared before you, that is all set.
Great.
Also on here is 550 Walnut Street, but I am going to ask you to please table that, and because the company had called and Lisa stated that they had fixed the issues. I'm sorry, Ron. 550 Walnut Street, to ask to table it because the company had been in touch with Lisa and they have fixed
Okay,
the
great.
issues that have, and Lisa has agreed to accept those. And the next item would be the Type 1 licenses that we will need to schedule a public hearing for. And if Lisa will just tell a little bit about the Type 1, especially for Rocio, since she's new.
So when we adopted the 2013 food code, the 2013 food code does not require establishments that sell prepackaged only goods, crackers, soda, candy, gum, that are non-potentially hazardous. So that means they don't really need temperature control. They said that those establishments no longer need a food license. In order for us to require those establishments to have a food license, we need to make it a local Board of Health regulation. So for instance, most liquor stores that you go into, they sell
Chips.
soda, chips. You're not buying milk there, you're not buying eggs there, you're not buying a sandwich there. We're requiring them right now to get a license, even though under the 2013 food code, they are not required to get a license. It doesn't particularly matter to me either way what the board decides, if we decide to require them to get licenses or if we don't require them to get licenses. I kind of looked at it as Advance Auto on Boston Street sells soda. and we send the food inspector there to inspect. And they don't charge by how much they inspect, they charge by their time, and it's the same time they charge as if they were going to Irish Sutherland's. You know, what we're getting on that $200 food license, is it really covering the inspection that we do twice a year at this location that is literally a soda cooler?
And there's no safety issue.
Right, because it's not potentially hazardous food. You know, I don't think that there will be a lot of establishments that would fall under this to not be required to get a license, because most convenience stores sell milk, they sell eggs, they sell cheese, they sell pasta. All those places are still going to be required to get licenses, because that milk and all that dairy stuff is temperature controlled. We're really talking about, you know, the liquor stores. There's like a couple of gas stations that maybe sell gum in their little box. So that's really, you know, we need to determine which one it is. And if we do want to require, we do need to have a public hearing. Otherwise, if we don't, then we just follow the 2013 food code. And I will tell everybody who has those licenses, they do not need to renew any longer. So it's really up to the board to decide how they want to do it.
I think we should follow the food code. I see no reason to require licenses.
You agree that not to require?
Correct.
Yeah. I agree with that too. I mean, the government never wants to say it's financial reason for doing it, but we're losing money doing it.
But when you're losing money and you're not really worried about people getting sick.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
And in deciding not to require it, we're following the 2013 FDA food code.
exactly.
We're following the federal code.
Do we need a motion? Do we need a motion? I'm sorry.
We should probably just make a motion.
Yeah, do we need a motion?
Do we need a motion yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
want a motion to
Yeah.
accept Lisa's recommendation regarding type 1 licenses? Is that right, correct?
Just, you know, the recommendation of the Board of Health is to, you know, not require type 1 licenses with non-potentially hazardous foods. You know, to maintain, you know, what's current in the 2013 food code.
You got that, Elaine?
I can make sure.
Okay, Doctor, we're looking for a motion.
Motion.
Second it?
Aye.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, the other item that is on here is a great thing, and it's the food regulatory program standards. And Lisa has applied for a grant to have so that all food establishments in Lynn will all be on the same page, and that they meet these federal food standards that the FDA has put together. So Lisa will tell you more about it.
So we're working with Mogen, who is our food contractor, to apply for the FDA retail standards. It's a set of 9 standards that apply to food establishments. And it's designed to provide consistency, transparency, clarity. It's designed for the local Board of Health to come up with ways to help people. It's designed to encourage establishments to, you know, rise to the occasion, do what they need to do. It will help supply us with different grant money to do different programs. So for instance, one of the things that would be great to do would be to have a new restaurant opening training. So if you're a new restaurant that's opening in Lynn, you're going to be required to come to a training that will be done by our food inspectors. They call it person in charge training. Those are resources that we would offer, and we will obtain money through the grant to offer those services. One of the other protocols is the progressive discipline. Here's what happens when you have 3 bad inspections, and here's what a bad inspection means. Here's what happens when you have 4 bad inspections. So we don't come to the board kind of feeling like, well, this is what we did last time. It's all written, whether I'm here, whether you're here, no matter who's here, it's all written out for everybody.
Clear guidelines.
Clear cut. And I also am hopeful that there's money in this grant for us to translate the documents once we have them, so that we can actually make them usable documents for the majority of our restaurant owners.
Great.
Question. So you did mention about the new restaurant. Well, that, for a perfect example, I know Rincon Macorizano is going to be opening soon. Rincon Macorizano, they're reopening their restaurant. Is that kind of applies to them too? since
It
they're
won't apply to
opening?
him because he's not really a new business owner.
Got it, okay.
He's been an existing business owner. He just moved locations, but if he was someone who never operated in Lynn before, yes, he would be
Okay.
one of them. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Great.
Do you have another one? Or- I didn't put it on.
Hacienda Corona.
Oh.
That's old business. You want to do that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Old business, Lisa would like to bring up Hacienda Corona again.
So they came to us, I think in September. Come on up, guys, get Stephanie back. We've got reports on everything that they've been doing.
And I can know you,
Yeah, I got it. I do. I have it in here somewhere.
and I have a copy too.
Yeah, I have the November. I thought I printed it out. Maybe I just grabbed it. But honestly, what I'm most concerned about is on. I don't have the date of the original inspection. However, our inspectors went out there at the end of November. And at the end of November, we had similar violations while he's operating under the consultant's agreement, okay? One of them being raw hamburger patties being stored above bottles of sauce in the cabinet section of the inline refrigerator. Personally, someone who I would say is still relatively new to the food code, that's gonna be one of the easiest things to remember, that raw food goes on the bottom. And when the inspectors went back on December 2nd, because that's the actual inspection report I have, is the re-inspection, on December 2nd, it was still in a violation. So despite Stephanie's efforts, and which I can see, because she's sending me reports, she and Sergio are sending me spec sheets on equipment that they purchased, the folks at Hacienda Corona are still not really getting it. We also had, so the original inspection had 1, 2, 3, 4 violations, which is much better than previous inspections. 2, 3 of them being priority. 1.
Is this the November or the December?
This is December. So November was the routine, December was the re-inspection. So in November, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 violations. December, 4 of those violations, 3 were still not corrected at the time of the re-inspection. So my recommendation is they maintain being under the consultant's agreement, because I don't think 3 months has been enough for them to learn what they need to do.
I'm happy to provide a little feedback that was there today.
Let me ask something first. Before we allow them to go into the 3-month agreement, what we were gonna do if he didn't get the consultant?
Say that again?
Before he went into the agreement with the consultant to repair all the violations, if he did not hire the consultant, what were we gonna need to do to him?
Suspend his license.
Are you recommending that now, because of the violations still remain, to suspend?
No, I'm recommending that we continue to order him to stay with the consultant, and then we can do another 3-month trial and have him come back then.
Okay.
I mean, this inspection purposely happened 2 months into the consultants being there, and this is not a reflection of the consultants, you know, I mean, these are your staff, right? We do an inspection, there's 4 violations, we go back to re-inspect, 3 of them still wrong. Obviously, they need more time. At 6 months, I don't know, I might, depending on what the inspection says, I may have a different recommendation, but, you know, my original recommendation was a year. You know, I probably will keep saying a year, we keep having these problems, but I would at least like to see the 3-month increment. I think that's what the board had decided was reasonable last time.
Who's at your restaurant? Like are you there all the time? Are you there?
All the time.
Okay, and do you own the restaurant, sir? You do. So are you out on the floor? Like, who manages the?
Tomas, that's it. I'm the manager, but when I go there, Tomas is in charge of the kitchen and everything.
So that was on the monthly report. So this was a big step with assigning, that was one of our biggest tasks, was assigning an alternate person in charge. Because they didn't have leadership. And Tomas was the one that was the person in charge during that inspection in November. So if you take a look at, and I'm not undermining the violations, but you put those previous reports to this, it's just like leaps and bounds because of the fact that there was no temperature violations, which was huge, and that was a huge focus above all other matters, is eliminating temperature violations. We don't see temperature violations anymore. There were a lot of temperature violations before. As far as food storage, you know, we've kind of beat the temperature thing, and we're going to keep working on the temps always. But now we're talking about storage now. We're focusing a lot of our efforts now on proper storage. We had a conversation. Every staff member, including servers, are to be trained on keeping, you know, the raw meat separated.
We train everybody car every day, but some of the employees, they their own decisions, and I'm not there. They're easy to do something like that.
So that's why we have alternate person in charge now, because the management's ultimately responsible for the behavior of the staff.
So, but it's the same violation within a few days, it's the same violation within, I'm assuming a few days of each other, is that correct?
You know what, I'm so sorry, I wish that I had the original.
Well, within a month of each,
Yeah,
all right, so,
probably 2 or 3 weeks, within 2 or 3 weeks.
okay.
So it, you know, it existed probably the middle of November and it existed the beginning of December.
It was Friday, November 26th.
So what's being done to make sure this violation doesn't recur?
So it's staff training, management keeping a close eye on storage, and having to keep reinforcing and ensuring that if a staff is repeating a behavior, you have to retrain and fix it and show the staff how to do things correctly.
And you're committed to do all this?
And I already have a lot of new groups. We train a lot of employees, almost all teachers.
So I think it's encouraging that they've made so many improvements. The fact that they still have repeat violations definitely shows that more work needs to be done. I'm in support of requiring another 3 months consulting agreement.
So, can I ask, I'm a little bit concerned because in a matter of a few weeks, it's the same violation. So, I think that we should go back and maybe look at Lisa's recommendation when she had recommended a year. But if it's 3 months, maybe we settle on 6 months. Because even though Stephanie's been there for the 3 months and the temperature violation has made great improvements, I think we need to look back and see about another thing. So
I thought I heard you say you wanted to extend it for another 3 months and reassess it in 3 months.
Originally, I asked for a year. I got 3 months, so I just figure if that's what the board's comfortable with, I'm comfortable coming back in 3 months, and if I still don't feel they've done a good enough job, I'll keep asking for 3 months, and if we need it, then we get to a year, if we don't, we don't. You know, Michelle brings up a good point, and that was my concern. It's one, to me, when a food inspector goes out to an establishment, there's violations sometimes, things happen. It's a bad day, it's a crazy day, it's the day that everything goes bad, right? To me, the quality of a restaurant is how quickly they can fix their violations, and if the next time the inspector goes out, they're fixed. And in this case, they were not. These violations existed before the consultants, happened during the consultants, and remained during the consultants. So, like Stephanie said, agreed upon that there's significantly less violations, but this just shows the level of training the staff at Hacienda Corona need. Not the level of training that the average restaurant in the city of Lynn requires. Do you know what I mean? So You know, with all respect, I hear it across the board from all the establishments. You guys are going through a horrible time right now, trying to maintain employees and keep people and.
Yeah, that's hard to find people right
It
now.
is, but it's also across the board. It's every restaurant, everywhere, probably all across this country. You have 2 restaurants. Your menu states your restaurant in Lynn and your restaurant in Marblehead.
No, we have 6 right now.
Okay, you have 6. Even more reason why yours is better than one person who owns only one. You should know the food code inside and out. You should know how to train people. You should know how to keep people. And I don't know if it was Tomas on November 26th and Tomas on December 2nd.
I'm on December 2nd. and
So on December 2nd, you were there when it wasn't fixed.
She told, the inspector, she told me everything is good, nice, congratulations. And she write down.
So let me ask you, before she got there, had you walked through the kitchen?
Yeah, I checked everything.
And you missed the raw hamburger on the top shelf?
I don't know, they took from the working cooler or something there and they put it that way.
So it was observed container of raw hamburger patties being stored above balls of sauce in line refrigerator. Observed raw steak being stored above containers of sauce walk-in refrigerator. Observed cleaner sanitizer dispensed from dispenser at upper thresholds of the concentration.
So this goes back to also
Yeah, the same
focusing on active managerial controls, that there needs to be a manager that's just a manager.
Yes.
They're not working the cook's line, they're not taking drinks, they are just checking, this is a full-time job, they're just checking temps, they're keeping on those staff members that keep doing the same thing over and over and fixing it, you know? And walking around in circles essentially, you know, and that's what, you know, we're working on, is getting Tomas and Jose to take a stronger active managerial control and
So like, I don't know what you need to be prompted to take this more active managerial control. I don't know what your threshold is, but you're getting very close to not having an option any longer, because if the board decides to suspend your license, you won't even have the choice. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're under a consultant agreement. How many hours do you spend there a week?
I would say on average, I mean, there's some weeks where I'll be in there like 15 hours, and then there might be like Thanksgiving week I wasn't there, but then the week after I'm 10 hours. I'll spend several hours at a time. I like to go there at different intervals.
So she's basically like a part-time employee for you. What are you gonna do when she's not there? My feeling is your inspections are gonna go,
That's not happening.
I mean, because that's happening while she's here.
Yeah, with the sanitizer, we called the guy, supposed to fix it. And I talked to him yesterday, he told me, I have 40 business here in Lynn. I put the same level for everybody. Why you don't pass? Well, he pull a report, he bring me maybe tomorrow.
So
Okay,
there,
the same level, people, for everybody.
Time out, time out,
it's fixed.
time out. I don't believe this board's job is to determine if more time is needed. I don't think this board's job is to hear how he's trying to get his act together to put the food correct. And I quite frankly don't understand why we're not going back to suspension if it's that serious of a violation again after training.
Because I do see improvement.
Hold on.
Sorry.
So, I really want to emphasize that I think it's smart for us to allow suspension, time period, whatever Lisa and Michelle want regarding to enforcement, and then us vote on whether we agree to do that suspension or agree to not suspend. If they need 3 months, or if they need 6 months, or if they need a year, we're never gonna remember that as a board. You will, and then when you remember, if they don't comply, come back to us again. For us to sit here as a board and listen to him tell her why the hamburger's not on the shelf or whatever, that's not really our place. I think the best thing about it is he's improved. He hasn't improved enough. So why don't we do this? Give him another 3 months. If there's one violation, we're gonna suspend him. Because we can't keep taking a plan and letting people run in a fashion that's not by the law. more time, plan. Meanwhile, someone's gonna get sick. So, my opinion is, give him 3 more months. If there's one violation, we'll go to the suspension, he can do his correction and reopen again after the suspension. That's what I would feel. And I'm not into suspension first. But right now, we're on the second chance. When he comes back again, that's a third chance. You have to have a little bit of a reasonability to understand. We want to give people chances, but not at the expense of giving people bad food. That's our job as a board, to make sure establishments are giving the public proper healthy food. Whatever Lisa and Michelle say we need to do from an enforcement standpoint, because we're the enforcement mechanism, we've always supported you, we always will. If we think it needs to be longer, we'll say it then. Or if you need more, we'll always give you what you want. But to sit here, we don't, look, Lisa, I know you're just trying to tell us what's going on. And I know you're trying to keep us abreast because there's a lot of things going on, a lot of people trying to correct stuff. I think what I'm trying to say is, I know you're really busy, you've got better things to do to say, don't worry, Ron, we're on these people. Bring it to us when we're ready to either suspend or approve the plan, like you said. But he already has a plan and he can't even follow the plan. So where do I go from here? You know what I'm saying? I'm getting lost in the shuffle, is what I'm saying.
The board wanted us to come back in December. So we're back in December, here's the report.
Yep. So my suggestion is, give him 3 more months, and if there is a violation, I'm going to make a motion to suspend. Because that's a third chance. I mean, if it's a stupid thing, like, that's not a priority 1, maybe I should say if it was a priority 1 violation.
I think that's a good point, because I did just write that down. I think it should be if there's a priority foundation violation, which is the highest level of violation, then there's a suspension.
Because stuff happens every day, right?
Exactly. I would like to, recognize that there are times when, the hand soap ran out, hold on. And they correct it on site.
Are these priority foundation violations?
These are priority, which are 1 step down.
Would that include new violations as well? So say they do come back and there is a priority violation, but it is never occurred before. Say, for example, it never occurred before, it's a first-time violation. Would that warrant suspension?
We will take everything into consideration when we cross that bridge. Hopefully we won't, because there won't be any violations. But, I don't know the answer to that, because that's a maybe. And if it's something that they never knew they were supposed to do, of course, we're not going to suspend them. We don't want to suspend, but I don't want to keep coming back here with plan after plan, saying, I'm getting it, I'm almost there, I'm going to be there next week, I'm going to be there next month. We're supposed to say, you got to be there by this date, and if you're not there by this date, we have to take action. That, the grace period to get the plan and to implement it, that's the time for change for the better. And we're going to go based on Lisa's recommendation. We're not going to nitpick, and we're not looking to suspend. We're not trying to find a little corner where a reason to suspend someone. But if you give us the reason, then we have to do what we need to do. And him giving me a reason to suspend is saying that there's bad food being stored at an improper temperature. That's a red light for me. And I don't speak for them. They speak for themselves. I just think that it's, look, he's trying. It's hard. We all understand that. But guess what? If you get food that's going to make someone sick, you're not trying hard enough. I'm sorry, and I don't understand the business. That's why I defer to Michelle and Lisa. They know what needs to be done. They know what can be done. They know how much can be done. You know better than all of us. But if you get the same thing happening that could make someone sick, we can't just keep saying, yeah, they'll hire her, and in 3 months they'll be okay. We already did that. We already hired you. We already waited 3 months, and it's not okay. So we're going to wait another 3 months, or whatever Lisa thinks is necessary. And if there are repetitive, if it looks like they're not listening to you and they're not getting it, then we need to do something. I don't know what that is. I'm hoping that we won't have to do anything. But I think, we've always been more than fair. And I don't think it's unfair to expect someone to be said, this is what you need to do, wait a month and come back, you didn't do it all. It's not that hard, you know?
One more question for Lisa. So we have an A letter grade right now on the door, and we got that A when they came in November. And, you know, that was a big accomplishment, but we know that we could lose that.
Yeah, that grade was not supposed to change.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to speak to the food inspectors, because that's part of the minutes of the original meeting. That grade was not supposed to change.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just gonna say, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that was not supposed to change. Because the grades are supposed to be based on what you can do without the professor, the teacher, the person there. The grade is on you, so I'm gonna speak to the food inspectors, and the grade that you had previous to that will be the grade that's gonna be hung on the door.
My question was gonna be, even if we had an A letter grade, say in...
They don't get to get grades while you're working.
Okay.
That just doesn't make any sense. That's like having the teacher sit there and whisper the answers in your ear while you take the test.
So, despite the findings that the inspector found, not realizing they weren't supposed to change the grade, they gave them a grade of A.
They scored a grade of A, yeah.
So they scored a grade of A.
Yeah.
So, I'm not so sure if they're scoring a grade of A that I would feel that we would want to suspend their license if they're scoring a grade of A.
That's what I was getting at. So right now, despite whatever's on the door, we have a score of A. We had it in November, we remained to have that score of A. So say they came back and they had a priority in January and they remained to have a grade of A, do you believe that they should get their suspension even if they continue to have a grade of A?
Yeah, but don't get hung up on what we're gonna suspend you for, just do what you need to do, we're
Yeah.
gonna work with you.
Right.
You know, I don't wanna get hung up on, you better not do this, you're
So,
gonna...
here's the thing, we can't pigeonhole ourselves and say, if it's this, if it's that, if it's this. Here's the issue. To me, the major issue on this is, not that on November 26th that there were some violations. That on December 2nd, the same violations still existed. That to me shows an inability of Hacienda Corona to get an inspection report and fix it. Like I said, I never assume that an establishment, listen, it could be a bad day, things go wrong, it's a brand new person. December 2nd at the re-inspection, they were still wrong. 3 out of 4 were still wrong.
Right.
To me, that says that they're not doing a great job. Yes, they can still get an A because of the type of violations they are, but it also shows me that there's no active managerial controls in this particular area. Which is why my recommendation tonight wasn't necessarily to suspend, but was to say, let's go 3 more months, because they've made progress, but not enough.
So basically what I was saying before,
Well, we get the next
if
inspection,
something like this comes again,
Yeah,
you can just
yeah,
tell them 3 months, you don't need our permission.
yeah.
You only need our permission to suspend. You run the program, and Michelle, Michelle may say, hey, talk it over with her, hey, let's do 6 months. You do whatever you want. But if they don't comply for whatever time period, that's when it comes to us, I believe. I mean, I'd gladly get involved, I don't think you want me to.
So basically what you're saying is you'd like the motion to be that at Michelle and I's discretion, we can continue the consultant agreement unless we feel there's a need to suspend the license, and at that point, we'll bring it to you.
Correct.
And likewise,
Does that
I
work
mean,
for you guys? That's okay, huh? Makes sense, I
it
think.
makes sense to me. Also, if in 12 months from now you're telling them they still need to continue the consultant agreement and they want to appeal that decision of yours, I think they should have the right to come to the board.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They can always ask to come to the board, for sure. For sure.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion, Ally? I'm always looking for motions, I never find them.
Can you say it slowly, please?
Yes, sorry.
All right.
Mr. Ridley made me be in the 6th grade speech contest because I spoke too fast. A motion to continue Hacienda Corona under consulting agreement at a time period to be determined by the public health director and the sanitarian, unless such time comes that the public health director and the sanitarian deem that a suspension is necessary. The suspension can only be granted if it's voted on by the Board of Health.
Let me ask you, do they get charged for all these extra inspections too?
Yeah, we
That's
pay.
another reason to not,
Mr. Berkman
To get
paid
out
a
of it.
lot of money for inspections, and that was, again, definitely moving forward, doing the right thing, paid all that stuff. I mean, I think it was $800 worth of inspections he had to pay for, and, the new equipment and stuff that they bought, and Stephanie's keeping me abreast of all that. So,
great.
yeah.
Okay, so John made that motion.
I make the motion motion.
And we're looking for a second?
Aye.
I can almost find the second, though.
So we'll expect, you guys will expect to hear from us in March, okay? We'll just put that out there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday. Hopefully it'll get better for you.
COVID-19 update. There is a surge in the city right now. And there's a surge in the city, and a lot of it has to do with schools and daycares. Schools and daycare. So we are following up on those with contact tracing and trying to, we're in contact with the schools every day and just trying to help them manage their program with that. Our vaccine clinics are very, very successful. Last night we had one from 4 to 7 upstairs in front of our office, and we did 464.
Awesome.
So we get a minimum of 300 to 400 people every time we have a clinic.
Wow.
So we have actually changed it, though, requiring Lynn residents only.
And are you still doing Tuesday, Fridays?
We're doing Monday, Friday.
Friday.
We're doing Monday.
I never came that Friday because Tony couldn't get out of a program thing, so I'm going to try to come this week.
Okay.
Michelle, what hours close? Because people are asking me, and rather than constantly bombarding you with phone calls.
So Monday is 4 to 7.
In the foyer?
No, upstairs in 401.
Okay.
And Friday morning, 9 to 11:30 in 401.
And that's for the vaccine, not the booster?
Both.
Oh, got it.
So you can come for a first dose, you can come for, and we have all vaccines, so you can come for a first, second, booster dose, and we have children, PD, Pfizer, and we're able to accommodate everybody with that. Thank you.
Good job.
Until kingdom come.
Because I need to plan when I can be like down and out to get my booster. Probably after Christmas, can't afford to get me sick.
Lisa accused me of poisoning her, so,
I have a question about tracking the COVID cases.
yeah.
Is there any measurement at all of the severity of the disease, or just positive and negative?
So some of them, we do get symptoms are less. We always ask if they're vaccinated or non-vaccinated. We do get, I mean, I'm happy to ask that if your symptoms are a lot of people we have found are asymptomatic and test positive.
So I question, it's getting to the point where I'm starting to wonder the significance of an asymptomatic positive test.
It's,
what's the end game for this nationwide,
I know,
really,
I know.
worldwide?
right.
This, this coronavirus, it's here to stay. It's not going away. So I just wonder long term what the public health game plan is going to be. It can't be what it is currently.
It's too
It
much.
can't be tracking positive tests. I mean,
Right.
think if you did that with the flu. So
And it's nerve-wracking too, as a person. Like, I got a phone call one day that my mother and I were at a doctor's appointment, and someone that we were with tested positive, and she called me 9 days later, and I'm like, well, I don't have symptoms really, I'm vaccinated, I'm not supposed to worry, but now I'm like, maybe I really am sick. I don't know, I fell in the woods, I don't feel good, but maybe because I fell.
Who the hell I got around?
Now, right, I've infected everybody in the world right now.
Like, if someone told you that someone you were with had the flu and you felt fine, would you do anything?
Exactly. But because you're so worried about it being COVID and you don't know who's vaccinated or not vaccinated or who's got, maybe I give it to Elaine or give it to somebody who's going to get really sick, and then you're like,
And at this point, all the policies that
You have to bring your card with you when you come for your booster?
It's helpful if you do, but if you don't have it, we do
Yeah, we have
make
it.
new ones. But if you, yes.
All right, great, thank you.
You make a good point.
yeah.
And I think that it is, we always wait direction from the state, Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm just.
No, but
Like I said,
being a doctor,
it's a,
right, I think it's a
it's
great.
not just the city, it's
Well,
state,
right.
it's federal, it's,
Right.
I'm just wondering where this is gonna go.
It's like life is start, stop, start, stop.
And at this point, most of this is all to protect the unvaccinated. The vast, vast, vast majority of patients who've been vaccinated, especially if they've been boosted, and the vast, vast majority of the young who cannot get vaccinated have asymptomatic or mild illness.
One important thing, Dr. John, this is our new board member. You know, I got officially introduced. I'm sorry, I apologize. I
That's
should not
okay.
have started the meeting.
That's my fault for coming a little late. I
It's
would
my
have done the
fault.
introduction myself when I first got here.
But we're gonna blame you
the meeting
because
was
you
underway.
came late.
Exactly.
I do get an update every week of how many Lynn residents are patients in the hospital. And some of it is, mostly we've been averaging about 8 in the hospital.
And you're told whether they're vaccinated or not? Is that
And I'm
correct?
told whether they're vaccinated or not, and whether they're in ICU.
Right.
Yep. And so far, it's only been once where a woman's been in ICU. So, I am told about that.
Just curious. Thank you.
Yep. Flu clinics, we had flu clinics in October. You know, they went very well. We do find now with our vaccine clinics that people do come in and ask, can I have a flu shot also? So we do try to accommodate both of those. Old business was Hacienda, to put on the agenda for next month. I'll put mobile on, and Hacienda and Nix will be follow up for later on.
Can I bring up an old business item?
Yes.
I thought of it when I was driving in today. I got at least one subpoena, I believe.
Oh, for,
And I thought there may have been a second one for a separate issue, but one was the ice cream.
oh, that
Truck
never,
vendor.
Mr. Cantino?
yeah, it never came to fruition.
Okay, so I was just curious about the upcoming.
Yeah, no.
The court threw it out, or?
I don't even, I think that it was established that he might have typed it up himself.
Oh, that's interesting.
I did
That would seem-
remember that he
that would-
lost his license in Chelsea.
That would seem something that would be criminal.
Right. He lost his license in Chelsea? Oh, jeez. So, yes, nothing is
Okay,
about that.
thank you.
Yep. The next meeting date I have is January 4th of 2022, going forward at 6. I'm still going to try to stick to the first Tuesday in each month. And thank you for your service, Rosa. Thank you. Nice to see you again. Dr. John always. Ron, nice to see you.
I'm gonna see you again before Christmas.
All right. Happy
I
holidays.
want to say this before we adjourn. I want to thank all of you on staff for your hard work through this Corona period. I know it's crazy, you know, trying to do business normal. I just really appreciate all the hard work you do. I know I say it sometimes through email, but I'd rather say it publicly because I know how hard you guys work. And I was telling my fellow board member here, you don't know how much this department does till you get involved. Like this, more and more keeps coming. But thank you all for the hard work. Be safe during the holidays. I appreciate. I'm gonna be here before Christmas anyhow. Is it next Tuesday? Everybody walks around City Hall. I'm gonna wear a beard with a mask.
Next Tuesday is the mayor's party, yes. Yep.
I'm not coming.
And City Hall is closing at 7 on the 14th. So,
Okay, so now we're looking for a motion. The best motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second it? Aye. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you again, folks. Have a nice day.
thank you, thank you, thank you.